Welcome to Jake and Trev Review Everything Live. Oh boy, what a show. What a show.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Trev.
Trev forgot that he was Trev.
Well, listen, I guess I come to the acceptance that people who are here, they know who we are.
Well.
But as famous...
It could be like, I'm Steve. I'm filling in for Jake tonight.
Sure, that's fair.
This is Donovan.
Steve and Donovan?
Steve and Donovan.
That's a weird combo.
Review most things.
Most things, but not all. As Linkara, a internet personality, has said numerous times, every episode is somebody's first episode. Yeah. So it's important to stick to the basics.
I'm not actually Steve, if this is your first episode.
This is Jake.
This is Jake.
I'm Trev.
Jake.
And this is week 33.
Week 33?
What a big week.
Backwards is 33.
Wow.
Palindromes.
Palindromes. I palindrome I. He palindromes he.
He palindromes
Oh, that actually does. Okay, so we got a few things to talk about this week. Right off the bat, we're going to give you a piece of Jake and Trev trivia. You can play along with us here. Jake and Trev review everything. In the pre-show broadcast, those of you who were here, you got to witness Jake and I jamming out to some Wilson Phillips, One More Day, holding on for one more day.
Break free from change.
That's right. And I said, with absolute seriousness, that Jake and I are obviously the Wilson Phillips of the review world. But way back in a previous live show, I said that Jake and I are the blank and blank of the review world. I'll give you a hint. They're rappers. Formerly. They were in the rap game. They were in the rap game. They may or may not.
Artistly formerly known as something you would know.
Right. So the question I have to ask you: who are Jake and Trev of the internet review world in reference to rap artists?
Fun little trivia game.
Yeah, do you? It'll just give me an excuse to say it later in the episode,
which is
that's fine. I want to enforce it. So just remember. For future Jake and Trev trivia, we are the Wilson Phillips of the internet review scene. So,
Yup.
So what do we got on the docket today, Jake?
We have all of your new favorites. We have Monster of the Week. I did not have a Person of the Week.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's tragic.
Maybe Trevor will scramble something together.
I'll see what I got in the pocket.
Well, we kind of both had the Monster of the Week.
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision.
Everybody gets the Monster of the Week, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's gonna affect everybody.
Let's see. It's over. We have
we're bringing back It's Over.
It's a controversial It's Over. And I'm probably gonna fuck it up, but whatever.
And of course, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? This is as we go along, answering your questions live. If you got questions, bring them up. Tell us what's the deal.
We're here for your questions.
We got some prior to the show. We're gonna answer those as we go along here and just kind of do our thing. Jamie Ganzel writes, "Salt and pepper, the salt and pepper of the."
I'll say that now. Trev and I are the salt and pepper of the internet.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's an acceptable answer, not the correct answer, but quite acceptable. Tupac and Biggie, man. I'm flattered. You guys. But that implies we're going to, conspire to have each other murdered in Las Vegas.
Well, we would have lackeys that would conspire.
Right, but we're both going to end up dead.
I don't think
Biggie and Tupac killed each other is what I'm saying.
Well, indirectly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't. Maybe aliens?
I don't know.
Could be aliens.
No need to be commenting on my hair, Jim. Oh, salt and pepper.
Oh!
No, salt and pepper.
Dad got a good zinger in there. By the way, my dad's finally here. Everybody wished him a happy birthday last week, and he was not on the show. It was his birthday, so, Yeah, maybe he was...
What? Week 32 was not a good enough birthday present for your dad? Come on!
So, but we do have another birthday. Our friend in reviewing, the Rhinus, of Black Shirt Beer Review, it is his birthday today.
Yeah.
So,
happy birthday! Happy birthday to the Rhinus, fellow producer here at Peanut Butter Disaster. You're a heck of a guy. You're a heck of a guy, and we got We got some heck of a lot of filming done last night, actually.
Nice.
We filmed at least...
Rhinus films in spurts, I feel.
Yes, he
does a lot of reviews.
I want to say
reviews.
I want to say we got at least 6 reviews filmed last night. And I was in one of them.
So if you are
Jake and I, who have a long ongoing feud when we're not being professional, that's why Jake's not there.
You'll get to see a little bit of our vitriol for each other.
We don't hang out in private life. So. I find
this is just a gig.
I find him loathsome personally.
I can't stand this fucker.
Sure. So as soon as this broadcast over, Jake's gonna storm out of the room.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna stomp off.
You're gonna knock some stuff over.
Yeah, to show you I mean it.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
And then you'll probably say something snarky under your breath.
That sounds like me.
I'll probably walk back in and say something else snarky. It's a vicious cycle.
It just goes on and on and on. But we're total pros, so we do these shows, and that does not come to blows. So.
He's a poet, and he didn't have any idea.
All right, let's move on. Let's move in on one of our. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Bill Nye, the science guy. Everyone loves Bill Nye. You know what? I feel like when you were a kid growing up in our kind of age group, late 80s, early 90s, you had 2 options where you were getting your kid science. Mm-hmm. You were either getting it from... Yeah, you were getting either from Beekman's World or Bill Nye, and I gotta tell you...
Beekman's World was like the discount Bill Nye.
Yeah, he was.
I feel like he was a little too goofy.
He was not a real scientist.
There was a dude in a rat costume on that show.
Right. Bill Nye, I don't think, had phony rats or talking penguins or anything like that.
Or Blossom wannabe.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't inherently wacky. He was just Bill Nye. And he scienced the shit out of everybody. I
feel like Beekman's World was kind of like the MST3K of kid science. I just went real deep with that one, by the way.
Yeah,
but that's
okay.
Oh,
that's
do you think that's accurate though?
I would say so.
I need validation.
I will validate that for you.
Thank you.
That's a validated ticket right there. But in any case, Bill Nye this week finally did his big evolution versus creationism debate with Ken Ham from the, I believe it's the
Department of Crazy People.
He's got a museum.
Sorry.
He's got a museum or something. I don't know. Look, I
got a museum in Minecraft.
that makes you an expert.
Yeah.
But in any case, they had their big debate. And it was something kind of to do. People were really hyping it up all day long.
Evolutionism, or evolution versus creationism.
Right.
Whatever side you fall on, guys, we're not gonna,
we're not breaking anyone over the coals.
Beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Anyways.
In any case,
after that disclaimer,
I guess I really feel like it's awesome. First off, that unlike a lot of shows, like kid shows hosts, like Bill Nye, Bill Nye didn't disappear into the void. He's still science educating, which is great.
Still sciencing.
It's he frequently goes on Fox News. Like Fox News likes to have him on every once in a while whenever they have a science question. And,
and he's like, here's the science. And they're like, what the...
I remember a recent video watching where Bill Nye explained how the moon has tidal effects on water and why that works.
Yeah.
And they were just baffled. Bill Nye has one of the best baffled faces of anyone. Like, he tries really hard to be...
He does this. Wait, keep talking.
Well, the Earth is only 4,000 years old, and dinosaurs definitely walked the Earth along with humans. He's just, the whole time he's over there like, you hear him like...
really wants to jump in there, but he's so polite.
He's checking the numbers.
Yeah.
He's checking the facts in his head while he's going along. And he just looks baffled by the arguments that people have for what he's talking about. Like, do I have to sit here and actually refute that dinosaurs and humans walk the Earth at the same time?
If you're familiar with the meme, like the guy with the face, I think that was also Fox News, like a screen grab. But I think they should replace it with Bill Nye and his look, because even more perfect.
And the thing is that he's a total pro. He gets out there, he gives his opinion. He didn't, from what I've been able to tell, he didn't really spend any time ridiculing Ken Ham or people who believe this.
He wasn't making fun of them.
He's a serious-minded scientist, is what he is. And also a good sport. Apparently, a while ago, there was, during the Man of Steel promotion, the Gillette was asking
how does Man of Steel shave?
And he actually sat there and gave a real scientific explanation where how he feels that Superman could shave because in the movie he goes from having a beard to having no beard. So how does that happen?
Yeah.
And he's not so up his own butt that he won't go and talk to the people from Gillette about how Superman can shave.
It was I hate ads and promotion for the most part, but it was kind of interesting. They had Kevin Smith came on.
Mm-hmm.
There were people talking about he pulled a piece off of a spacecraft which was irradiated like kryptonite, so that would be able to cut through his hair.
Sure.
Or somebody else posited that.
Wild theories.
Yeah, or that if you held a mirror up and he did his laser vision, it would bounce back and shave his beard with his laser eyes.
All pretty sweet visuals.
Yeah,
together.
It's fun.
In any case, yeah. So for being entertaining, for being willing to go out there and talk to those awful Fox News people, I don't care what side of the political spectrum. I think they're awful.
They're jerks.
But in any case, for being a real sport, for getting out there and being willing to go to one of these dog and pony shows because here's the thing, you're debating a scientific method versus issues of faith,
right?
And that's not really. It doesn't really work. You can't really debate faith.
Yeah.
So basically, to me, if I was invited to go to try to debate faith, I would kind of just decline because it's I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to convince you of what I'm trying to, because you've heard all these arguments before and you are unconvinced. Yeah. So I don't, there's not much of a debate there. So for being a real sport and for being a science educator in America and standing up for trying to get out there and continue to promote science education, Bill Nye's our person of the week. Hey! See, I told you I had one sitting in my pocket.
Also, that reminds me, and if you haven't seen or heard this, John Green.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
John Green does a series of shows on the internets, YouTube in particular.
Boy, not just John, but also his brother Hank, those Green brothers, they're all over the YouTube. They do Blog Brothers. We've mentioned them a little bit on the show before. They do the Blog Brothers.
I feel like they're the new...
Or Vlog Brothers, maybe?
Vlog Brothers. Yeah, maybe.
Vlog Brothers, where they address each other and send little videos back and forth where they're kind of discussing something. Where it seems that they're discussing, have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yes. But they also do a lot of educational programming on YouTube, which is weird, but then you watch the show and it's very even-handed and very fun. So I feel like if I were in a classroom now, like in middle school or high school, I feel like probably one of the coolest teachers would probably bring that into class and be like, we're learning about this today.
Hey, let's watch this. Yeah,
excellent. There's Crash Course. They do that for chemistry, history, world history,
and
US history. And then most recently they started psychology.
There's even a supplemental sort of like a 6-part series on literature.
Different books.
Yeah, The Great Gatsby,
Catcher in the Rye.
The Catcher in the Rye, a few others that are kind of important.
They're really
seminal American novels. But anyway, yeah, they're great videos for kind of educating yourself a little bit. They don't take up too much of your time. They got great infographics and so forth to help kind of ease you into it. It's a very, very friendly, good experience. So, definitely check those out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Moving on. So, we talked about our person of the week, Bill Nye. Now, let's talk about our villain of the week.
The monster of the week.
Monster of the week, and here we go. We're going to give you a minute to guess who it is. Let's. We don't have what's in the box this week.
So we're still playing
guessing game for the week.
We're gonna
Who is the monster of the week?
This is a better guessing game because I'm gonna punish you guys anymore by assuming you remember a pretty side thing I said a long time ago. The actual answer is that Jake and I are the Warren G and Nate Dogg of the review world. We're the regulators. You got to be handy with the steel. You got to be handy with the steel. Bring the heat. I don't know. But in any case, that's the real answer. So now don't bother trying to answer that question anymore. I ruined it for you. Now, try to guess who our monster of the week is.
Yeah. And while we're doing that, let's talk a little bit about Disney.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we were talking about a skit about this earlier, and I'm just going to describe it to you. Okay. A young person who works at Disney is sitting dutifully at his work desk, doing some things, you know, checking some paperwork, and then all of a sudden, insight hits him. And he gets up really seriously and says, I just remembered. And he runs out of his office, and he's kind of like...
What did he remember?
He's got like a kind of a panic, like
determined.
seizing moment kind of thing, and he plows through out of the main hallway.
Knocks people over, papers
out of the way! No, mail boy, get out of here! And he runs up the stairs to the executive office, and and the secretary's like, you can't go in here. And apparently it's a really gruff guy who's the secretary. This is a progressive company. That's what I'm saying.
I'll be the guy you busted in my office. All right.
Mm-hmm. Sir, I just remembered. Chippendale was a thing.
Let's make a movie about it. Yes. A live action.
No, see, okay, but they're making a Chippendale movie. Rescue Rangers. You guys remember? Yeah, they were based on Indiana Jones and Magnum P.I. for their looks in that series. They weren't really big characters at any point before that. Occasionally they fight Donald Duck or Pluto or whatever. They were kind of forgettable.
The game was really good.
Sure.
The NES game.
Well, the NES game was
Capcom.
Superb. Well, there's your reasoning.
Capcom
right
and Disney, man. They were good.
They were knocking it out of the park. What happened?
What happened, guys?
But in any case, yes, they're making a Chippendales live-action movie because it worked out so well for Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Smurfs, you guys. Right? Right? No, it's gonna be. Well, that's something to segue into later. There's a lot of reasons to have significant doubts here, folks.
Yeah.
If you have seen the Smurfs or Alvin and the Chipmunks, I've seen bits and pieces of both of them, and given some reactions from people who I trust on the matter. These are cynical cash grabs, folks.
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
As soon as they remember that it's a thing, like I said,
it's a thing. I remembered that was a thing. Chippendale Rescue Rangers. That's a thing.
We could make a thing of it.
Oh, you know what else is a thing? Tailspin. Fast track it.
Fast track it. Print it.
John.
Stop digging. You hit gold, sir. So that's what's happening. What are you guys' thoughts? Are you interested in seeing a Chippendale live-action movie? Is there a better way you can think of to bring back Chippendale if they're really that interested in it?
I know!
Ooh, Jake knows.
I don't get to answer.
But he doesn't get to answer. Let's see. Jamie Ganzel writes, I was a TSA for World History class once, and I made my students watch Crash Course. They loved it.
Yeah.
Proof. The proof's in the pudding, folks, and there's the proof.
Proof's
in that pudding.
Proof's in the sauce.
That sounded a little dirty. Sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean it like that. But so yeah. Since we don't have any of you guys, wait, I forget. We're on like an 8-minute delay.
We gotta wait about an hour.
We're gonna have to wait about 15 to 45 minutes before somebody's gonna hear us ask what
15,
the monster
20 to 25,
the monster
about
of the week is.
30 to 55 minutes.
It could be a lot of things. It's true.
My dad liked the Garfield live-action movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just said so.
I see.
Dad, why?
Well, Bill Murray did the voice.
That's true. But no one will believe you.
Funny story about that. Apparently, the reason Bill Murray agreed to do Garfield, because if you guys don't know, Bill Murray does not have like a traditional agent that like looks for roles for him.
I did not know.
He didn't know that. Apparently, Bill Murray has a phone number that if you're in Hollywood and you're the right sort of person, you know what his phone number is, and you can call and you can make a pitch. And he doesn't check it like every day. He, sometimes goes a couple of weeks without checking his mail. But he'll go in there and he'll listen to proposals, and if he's interested in all, he'll call you. So with that system in place, you say to yourself, how did he get into making a live-action Garfield movie?
Uh-oh.
Well, apparently, the last name of the fellow, it's been a while since I read the article, the last name, I want to say it's it is a Joel, I want to say, or Joe. The last name of the fellow who was responsible for that, however, was Cohen. And Bill was under the mistaken impression that he was going to be working with the Coen brothers.
On a Oh, I'd love to see that. That would be delightful.
A Coen brothers Garfield movie?
Oh my god.
Could be pretty intense.
Oh my god. What if they had like the main story, and then Garfield ships Nermal off to Abu Dhabi, and Nermal is just like lost in this monumental city.
Mm-hmm.
And like all sorts of like bad shit happens to Nermal, and eventually Nermal like makes it back to the States. Like that's the whole movie.
And then she gets into the house and
Nermal's
oh yeah, that's right. Well, it's a very
it's like Tweety Bird.
It's like Tweety
Tweety Bird's a dude, by the way.
Mm-hmm. So you know. Also, Birdo. From Super Mario Brothers 2?
Birdo from Super Mario Brothers 2
It's a dude. It's a dude. And in fact, in the manual, it kind of like suggests I was reading an article. I read a lot of articles, you guys.
Yeah,
we're well read on the internet. But apparently, in the manual for Super Mario Brothers 2, it mentions that it's a boy that thinks he's a girl. And with the Japanese version of those, what it's actually translated from is apparently the symbol used is more correctly. It more correctly means mistakenly believes.
Oh, okay.
So it's a boy that mistakenly believes it is a girl, and that's why part of why it throws eggs or spits eggs out. I don't know. There's a lot to not understand here.
Yeah.
There's a lot to not understand. But anyway. We got some comments. We're gonna get to your comments, and then we're gonna get to the monster of the week. Let's see. Cherie Morrison, Glasscock Morrison joins us. Thank you. Hello, hey. Cherie. Good to see you as always. My mom's here. You guys,
Mom.
You said hi to Jake's dad last week.
Hello, Trevor's mom.
You say hi to her now. You say hi to my mom. You guys have some class. Love you guys. Let's see. Cyrus McCarter writes, more bland for the Hollywood wasteland.
Like the idea for a Need for Speed movie.
Boy, is that a movie nobody was asking for.
They made a Need for Speed movie. It was called Need for Speed Underground. Or was it Underground 2? What was the one with the hard and flat out? That was...
I Most
forget.
Wanted. It was Most Wanted.
Most Wanted.
The original.
Just take the whole story of Need for Speed Most Wanted, which I played all the way through. I actually enjoyed the middle chunk of Need for Speed games. Mm-hmm. There was like the earlier ones, I think, for the PlayStation.
Right, where it was all highly focused on street drag racing and customizing your cars.
But it was like, it was perfect. It was like a Mega Man version of car racing, because in Need for Speed, God damn it, I just forgot. What is it? Which one?
Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Most Wanted. You had to take over turf by racing people in different sections.
And the original. And the turf one you're talking about. That's that's underground or whatever.
Yeah. But you race different people in the turf, and then you race the head of the turf, like a boss race. And then if you beat them, then you have the chance to get their pink slip for their car.
Oh yeah.
You remember.
Mm-hmm.
I love those games. I stopped playing when they started. The game after was the one I missed, when they started drifting.
Sure, yeah, the drifting.
I liked the drifting, actually. It was difficult.
Most Wanted had this very cinematic storyline where you were a racer. You were a racer. You just came into town and you were looking to hook up with the racing crowd, and so you approached some people. And there's this guy who looks suspiciously like Paul
Walker.
No.
All right.
Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad.
Oh,
who is in the Need for Speed movie,
which is weird.
Right.
But, right. And he plays the protagonist.
Right, he plays the protagonist. But in this one, the bad guy, who seems to have been played by evil doppelganger of Aaron Paul,
shiny-faced Aaron Paul.
He comes in and tells you that he's gonna get your car, and then
your woman.
Then he's gonna get your girl, and he's gonna ride it hard, flat out. And it's like, are you talking about my girl, calling it an it, or my ride? And in either case, I don't want you doing it.
Yeah, don't.
So it's...
But the story's so hammy. Like they had motion capture, so they had like live action people in the 3D.
Oh,
it's
so game. Bad! Don't do that.
Imagine this on the PS2 or the Xbox.
Oh.
It was great. It was so hammy and so good. This new one just looks like a Need for Speed Need for Speed ripoff. It looks like a Need for Speed ripoff. It looks like a Fast and Furious ripoff. Mm-hmm. Which, to be fair, Fast and Furious was kind of a Need for Speed ripoff. So.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
When you said that eats its tail.
When you said
the
that
world keeps spinning.
When you said that they already made a Need for Speed movie, I thought that that's what you were talking about. Because
they did.
That's Fast and the Furious. Okay, so yes, and it is a Hollywood wasteland. You are correct, Sarah McCarter.
Apparently, my dad is sending me a Deadpool and an official new Next Generation Captain shirt.
Oh my god!
I will be wearing those on the show.
Man. Jake's getting all kinds of sweet swag. This is great. 6 new messages.
What?
Oh my goodness, you guys are being great. My mom says you put a big fun smile on his face. Let's see. Tom Jake still says hi, Mom. Miss Wani says hi, fellas.
Everybody said hi to your mom.
Everybody says hi to my mom. Way to go, you guys. You guys are something else. Classy guys. Let's see, Jake's smile. I think that's what they're doing for Mom and Brad. Even last
it's the
ladies.
beard. It's hard to see him smile.
Okay, so nobody has any guess at who our monster of the week is, so we're just gonna go right into it.
Wait, hold on.
Jake wants to bury the lead. Bury the lead, Jake.
I want to say. Okay, well, we already fucked it up, but whatever. It's YouTube!
It's YouTube.
Boom! There it is. And here's the deal. Okay, so recently, if you've been watching the show or the internet, you know...
we've been upset about at YouTube here for several weeks.
What's happening is that reviewers like us...
Reviewers like you...
Like us. We use clips from shows, we use clips of music. It's copyrighted, but we're using it under fair use to review, as parody, those sorts of things. YouTube has unleashed a number of bots that are controlled by the companies that are at interest for finding videos.
Let me back you up just a step. YouTube has allowed these companies to unleash these bots.
Right. Yes. So the YouTube was like, oh, go ahead. These bots are going through, finding videos that have snippets. Not the whole thing, but snippets of video, snippets of audio, those kinds of things. And then say, no! You can't have this video on YouTube because it's our copyrighted material. Forget that you have no process as a person that puts up videos to refute these. Any streamlined process. Because there are ways around it. But it takes so fucking long that it's monumentally easier to put a copyright claim on a video than it is to take one off.
Right.
So there's that.
It's much harder to refute.
So YouTube has YouTube been working with the users to maybe come up with a more fair and balanced way. I hate to I don't know why I use that term, but a more balanced way.
Fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced. A more balanced way to.
The only way to fix this, Jake, we gotta get Tron in here. Because Tron fights for the users.
Tron fights for the users. We need Tron.
We need Tron.
We need Tron. But, so, is YouTube going to work with the users, like Tron, to help them out, to refute these claims, or have a more streamlined refutation? I made that word up.
Guys, I want you to see how sad YouTube is making me.
YouTube is not doing that. That's not what they're worried about. You know what YouTube is worried about?
What are they worried about, Jake?
They're worried about bogus video views. According to this article in Variety, YouTube is cracking down on videos that are getting fake views. Now, if you know, some YouTube, you can do this on your video. You can monetize your video.
Yep.
There are plenty of YouTubers that are established. They get a lot of hits, so they put that on their videos, so there's an ad before or after in the middle or whatever, and they make money off of that.
Yep.
apparently YouTube says that the thing that's detrimental...
The thing we need to, like, focus on and talk about and put out there and make sure everyone knows we're working on...
It's fake video
views. Todd Spangler of the New York Digital editor for Variety writes that YouTube is serving notice on video fraudsters. The site said it has started to methodically audit views a video has received to strip out obviously fake activity in a step aimed at building credibility with advertisers.
Yeah, because you know what YouTube needs to worry about right now?
Credibility with advertisers.
Yeah. I doubt, like, I want to, let's drop into our opinion article here, Trev, that we're doing right now.
Go ahead. I got stuff to say, but you say first.
I don't think that this is a big enough problem for YouTube to worry about. Apparently it is, statistically. But they're apparently, it says, starting this week, YouTube will periodically validate a video's view count, removing fraudulent views. I don't know how they will do that.
Well, I mean, not to contradict you here, Jake, but they even say in the article from the language here is that the change is expected to affect only a minuscule fraction of videos on YouTube.
So why is it so fucking important?
So then only a minuscule fraction of videos on YouTube have these phony views then, is what you're saying. But we believe it's crucial to improve the accuracy of view counts and maintaining the trust of our fans and creators. And this is from Philip Pfeifenberger, a Google software engineer who wrote in a blog post recently concerning this. Now,
Pfeifenberger. Wow.
Pfeifenberger.
Yikes.
Pfeifenberger. But yes, they believe it's crucial to improve the accuracy of view counts and maintain the trust of our fans and creators. And it's like,
wait, what? Trust of our fans and creators. Why would your fans or creators give a shit about fake video views?
See, and then that's it. They've betrayed themselves by making.
Because in the very next sentence,
I want to launch an investigation to prevent YouTube from using phony arguments in their fucking blog posts. How about that?
In the very next paragraph, it says there's also money at stake.
Oh no shit, money.
Really, money for video views, for ad revenue?
Oh no kidding.
Money at stake. Wow. So basically, what we're saying, in layman's terms, guys, if you're not familiar with the YouTube or whatever, is that instead of focusing on something that the internet blew up about like a month ago, even releasing any sort of statement about it at all, they're like, oh, well, the thing we need to focus on is making sure that the ad revenue is proper and not, Because what happens with an ad is that somebody watches the video, the ad pops up, the people who put the ad on the video pay YouTube and the user. Like, I don't know what the percentage is or whatever, but YouTube and the user, or the person that puts a video online, get paid by the advertiser. Now, if the uploader is like just sitting there all night, like clicking on the video over and over again, and
that's fraud.
That's fraud, which makes sense, but it's in such a small fraction of users, and you make fractions of cents for the most part off of a video view. Like a cent or two. Fractions.
Right. But
it's not even, like, if you have, like, a bot or something, but it's probably really easy to, like, do that out. But the most, and I don't blame YouTube for doing it, but why are they being so fucking vocal about it? Who gives a shit? That's, like, internal kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, oh, we released some bots so that we can
like, this is what we gotta make a press release about. This is what we gotta talk to some folks about.
Who gives a shit?
It's inflating a problem, trying to pretend that it's like something that we all need to be worried about, and that's the worst part is that they are ignoring something that is a genuine problem that does undermine the credibility with their fans and their producers and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's just a real shame, especially because it's a Google company. Google is a company that has, don't be evil as part of their whole corporate identity and their rules of conduct.
I don't know. They're over the last few months, they're getting a little shady.
Well, yeah, but
they got their boats. I don't know if you heard about that. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but Google has boats. Google boats, and they're like shipping boats. Like shipping container boats. And nobody knows what's on their boats. And everybody wants to know what's on their boats. But they're not telling anybody what's on their boats. Why do they have boats?
Soldiers.
Google soldiers.
Google soldiers. They offer a competitive pay rates, great insurance package.
Google water?
That water gave me exactly what I was searching for. Anyway, they're a monster of the week. YouTube, get your shit together. Address the concerns of the people who use your community. I understand that you're a business, but I'm guessing
you don't need to give.
I'm guessing you're not floundering. I'm guessing I'm gonna go off on a wild hair here and assume that YouTube's probably financially solvent right now.
Yeah.
And that they're not in some kind of fiscal crisis that they need to address this with. You know. So that being said,
we're losing pennies. Everyone should know.
What a joke.
We're gonna fix this.
What a joke. What do you guys think? YouTube, is YouTube fucking up, or are they just looking out for their best interest, and that's just what you need to do?
Well, YouTube's best interest is different from their users' best interest right now, which is bad.
Right. Here's a little bit of a time waster. Apparently, I discovered this, and this has been discovered by other folks.
I feel like this article is really the gem, though, because we've heard a lot of
go look for this. The name of the article. If this doesn't get your attention, guys, I don't know what will. The name of the article is "This Guy on an Old Harry Potter Forum Says Dumbledore is a Time-Traveling Ron Weasley, and I want to hear him out."
That's the name of
the name of the article. It's over on thetoast.net. The-toast.net. I'm sure you can find it pretty easily on there, or search on YouTube. This guy on an old Harry Potter forum says Dumbledore is a time-traveling Ron Weasley, and I want to hear him out.
And it's just the narrative of him reading through the conspiracy of Ron Weasley, the theory, the fan theory of Ron Weasley being Dumbledore, and it's delightful.
Just to give you a little taste of the argument here, at the very least, you really need to read the whole article. There's links from the article to the original forum post with even more insight. But here's a little preview, little taste for the tip of your tongue. Evidence, uncanny resemblance. We often joke about how unobservant Harry is, and though he hasn't made the connection that we have, he does indeed dutifully describe for us both Ron and Dumbledore's appearance. Harry describes both Ron and Dumbledore as tall, thin, and possessing a long nose, although Dumbledore's has been broken a couple of times. These three characteristics are repeated by Harry when he meets either of these characters for the first time in almost every book. Dumbledore is described as having long fingers, while Ron is described as having large hands and feet. Unless Ron is a mutant, having large hands would also mean having long fingers. Dumbledore is very, very old and white hair when we first meet him, but when Harry visits a 50 years younger Dumbledore in Riddle's diary, he is described as having auburn hair. In other words, Dumbledore was once a redhead, just like Ron. And while we know Dumbledore has sparkling blue eyes, J.K. Rowling has very curiously neglected to have Harry mention Ron's eye color for 5 whole books now. We know nearly everyone else's eye color, including Arthur Weasley, who's his father, whose are blue, but we don't know that of Harry's best friend. So Ron's dad has blue eyes, saying that Ron might have blue eyes. Yeah. Dumbledore has blue eyes. They're described very similarly.
But
there's a lot more to this.
Yeah. And the guy writing the article about finding this,
it's kind of like sitting at a table across from one of your friends. They describe this pop culture conspiracy theory, which are delightful. Everybody loves pop culture conspiracy theories. And the person reading this is just so on board for this conspiracy theory.
I am properly strapped in. I have read the precautionary materials. I have no known heart conditions, and am neither a pregnant nor a nursing mother. All of my arms and legs are safely inside the vehicle. I am ready to go on this ride with you.
Nice. So check it out. It's an interesting little tidbit from the internet for all our Harry Potter fans out there. Let's see.
Do we have any questions? We had a Bond question.
Yes, go down to the Word document on the bottom there.
Oh, we still have to talk about that too.
Mm-hmm.
We still have to do the It's Over.
Okay, question submitted before the show by my mom!
By his mom!
Right? You're going to have to go back. Okay. Which James Bond was the best secret agent? And which of the Bond movies were the best in regards to plot, supporting actors and actresses, overall enjoyable action movie? Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one. I gotta say GoldenEye. To be honest, like,
are we talking like critically the best, like in terms of like filmmaking chops, competent story?
Well, that was never what Bond was about.
If we're talking about like what our favorite
until Potato Face Daniel Craig came along.
So it's like he's from a Cowboy Bebop episode or something. Yeah. For those of you guys, forget it. You'll figure it out. Anyway, so I would say mine would have to be probably Moonraker, just because it's so delightfully out there. Yeah. It's all lunar, space base and everything. It's awesome. Great. I love it. I love it.
I liked GoldenEye. It was...
they had the lasers.
Yeah, they had those Moonraker lasers, bro.
The Moonraker lasers!
It was a fun movie. They're both fun. I like a lot of the other ones. Thunderball, I think I've seen more than once. That was pretty good. Obviously, Connery, of what I've seen of him, he's a delightful Bond. Mm-hmm. I do like...
George Lazenby is the only one who is just absolute shit.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't think I've seen him, so...
He was in one movie, so it's not surprising you didn't really see him.
I do like Pierce Brosnan. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people that are fans of the Bond series sometimes say that they don't. And that's okay. I mean, like, those movies were coming out when I was becoming old enough to appreciate a Bond movie. So, I feel like that happens with a lot of characters that are played by different actors in different generations. Mm-hmm. Like Bond movies.
But in regards to the first part of the question, I'm going to have to go with Daniel Craig. I think Daniel Craig's probably the best actual spy of the group.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's got
that's like...
of the action spy, because a real spy generally don't know parkour and have to chase people around through, like, Mombasa or, whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're... Who's the best Bond that was a spy? I would have to say Tom Cruise for Mission Impossible. Because he's doing spy stuff.
But no, Daniel Craig, I think he's a good spy Bond. They're taking it a little bit more seriously in the modern Bond than in the old ones. People would
argue, and I would argue a little bit, that it is a departure from the traditional Bond.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that the traditional Bond was a little bit too interested in getting his dick wet. Let's be frank.
I don't know what's wrong with that, but
well, it's going well. If you guys watched the Highlander 3 review that Jake and I did recently here, as we mentioned in that. It's kind of the James Bond wooing situation, people love watching James Bond woo.
It was usually two women in the movie. I neglected to say this in the review, but it's usually two women. One of them's good, and the other one's bad. Mm-hmm. And at some point, Bond has to kill the bad one, and then drives off into the sunset with the good one.
Right. Well,
that's kind of like the formula.
People want to see James Bond woo a girl.
Yeah.
And you can't woo somebody after you've already wooed them.
So there's a different girl in every movie, or different girls in every movie.
Right, so that necessitates that change. And I think it's just something that's sort of grandfathered in. I feel like people would feel like it's really weird for him not to have spent some time in the movie seducing a woman. Like, wouldn't that be weird if there was a James Bond movie where he was just totally all about business?
Yeah, that would kind of suck. Because that's
he'd be a good spy.
Well, that's the thing. He's supposed to be like doing his job, but also like wooing, and like he's suave, suavite. Another word I just made up. Copyright. Mm-hmm. Trademark. He has to. That's what makes a Bond. He's fancy. He's good at small talk with women. Mm-hmm. He's good at shooting a tiny gun and blowing things up. Mm-hmm. The PP-7 is
Oh yeah.
It's not a
Walther
gun. Walther PPK.
Walther PPK.
Also known as the PP-7.
Mm-hmm. Tajik Silva says all Bonds seem to keep the English end up.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Cyrus McCarter writes, Timothy Dalton, best Bond, The Living Daylights equals badass. It was a pretty good one. I like that. It's another case where, you kind of have to look at a lot of factors. And one of the factors I look at in Bond is a legacy. And sadly, George Lazenby has the worst legacy People easily forget that one, but Timothy Dalton's right there. He was only in 2. He didn't really have a lasting legacy in there. And then right away they went back to a Bond who was a much more... by the way, this is weird for me to admit, but somehow Pierce Brosnan outsmarmied Timothy Dalton. You know what I mean? Like, because Timothy Dalton's just got that face. Yeah, is anyone with me? He's got that smarmy face. He just does. Fuck you, Tim. No, I like Timothy Dalton. He did great in Hot Fuzz.
Oh, okay.
He was wonderful in Hot Fuzz.
He does have that face.
He does.
You reminded me who he was, which I feel
Oh my God, Jake! Why do I even do this review show with you? You don't know who anybody is, and you don't know what anyone's name is.
I don't know, guys. I'm sorry.
It's my week. It's my week to throw Jake under the bus.
Yeah. Toot toot, thump thump.
Oh! Secret.
Okay.
I got a secret.
Okay, hold on.
Bah!
Secret? I got a secret?
Why
did that come out of my mouth?
I don't know. You guys maybe remember last week, the question was, which movie or which book we were waiting to see adapted into a movie?
Yeah.
And my answer was American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're right. And they're doing that.
And now they're doing it. They're going to do it as a television series, which is the right call. There's just too much. There's too much good stuff. Too much good stuff.
They could make it into a trilogy. Yeah, let's not do that anymore. Let's stop making things
into trilogies.
Into trilogies.
Not everything needs to be a trilogy. Wouldn't it be refreshing, like, for somebody to deliberately say, "I'm just making 2."
I'm breaking the cycle. 2 movies.
My first movie was really great. The guys want me to make another one, and I'm only going to make the one.
Yeah.
The one more. 2. Just do 2.
Yeah, Tarantino did that.
What?
Kill Bill. But that was one movie split into 2 parts.
Yeah, that was intentional from the beginning.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Doesn't count.
He could have made that a trilogy.
Who was the youngest Bond?
I don't know.
Miswani. Is that how I'm supposed to say that? Miswani? Miswani?
Is that Michael? Michael Swanson?
I'm assuming it is. Is that a Michael Swanson hidden away under an abbreviation and a purple background with an egg? Who was the youngest Bond? I want to say the youngest Bond was Daniel Craig, but I might be totally wrong.
Craig.
I'm gonna say it. Jake, you do some fact checking.
Hold on, I'm trying. I'm trying!
Well, try harder, Jake. You're disappointing all of the fans right now.
Lazenby.
Lazenby was the youngest.
Boom.
Stepping in at the age of 30. Okay, so Lazenby. And, and I guess that's part of it. That people didn't like seeing little baby-faced Bond.
Or a potato-face Bond.
Oh my God. Back to the potato-faced Daniel Craig jokes. Okay, I'm going to steal this back.
So, I'm going to tread lightly on this one. We have like 14 minutes left. I will probably be backpedaling the entire time. The thing that is over...
Oh yes. It's over, guys. It's time for It's Over.
To stop judging films based on information we find out before they even go into fucking production. And I'm talking about judging...
It's over.
It's over, and I'm talking about judging outright and not applying a theory. I like to think that we're pop culture scientists.
Sure.
We were talking about Bill Nye earlier. Bill Nye never says, "No, you're wrong." He says, "Well,
I disagree.
I disagree because all of the evidence is here to the contrary."
Right.
So I understand when you hear a number of things about a movie before it's even made.
Well, let's just take Ben Affleck Batman as the example in our heads.
Well,
just start
we're totally gonna that was the first thing that we found out. Besides the fact that obviously not Brandon Routh is going to be in the next Superman movie.
Right.
The Superman vs. Batman.
Henry Cavill.
Everybody freaked the fuck out. Some people said he would be good, some people said he would be bad. There were a fair amount from the bad that outright said this is going to be a terrible movie based on this casting decision.
I'm not going to see it. What are they thinking? this is crazy, I've got an opinion, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Most recently, we've had casting for Lex Luthor.
Yeah, we'll get more into depth in that in a minute here.
Yeah. But when everybody freaked out about Ben Affleck being Batman, it was embarrassing. Frankly, it was embarrassing. A lot of people said they didn't like him in a lot of things they had seen, or they outright admitted that they hadn't really seen him in much. He was in Argo last year, very convincing, very good actor. I mean, that's one thing that you have to expect from people that are acting, is that they're going to act in the role that they are cast in.
What?
There are some people who are typecast in a certain role where you're like, okay, they're going to be just like this or that. Or
right.
But based on the fact that Ben Affleck is playing Batman, you cannot automatically tell me that this movie is going to be shit. I can tell you it's kind of on shaky legs right now as far as what we know, because they're adding all sorts of DC characters to this movie. It's not just Batman and Superman. It's Batman and Superman and probably The Flash, Wonder Woman and Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman. We're talking about sneaking in a Justice League movie under the guise of Batman versus Superman, which in itself is kind of a weird concept. The point being that we can kind of take that and say the story itself is on shaky legs already if all of those people, and they might be able to pull it off. If we know anything from the Avengers, which is clearly what they're trying to go for here, the Avengers balanced very well over a number of characters. 5 or 10 years before the Avengers came out, I'm sure anybody worth their salt in the movie reviewing or pop culture industry would tell you an Avengers movie just wouldn't work.
Right.
You know? So these are theories that we can put forth. We can say, theoretically, this Batman versus Superman movie might not be the best movie ever.
Right.
And so, yeah, people already dismissed it after Ben Affleck. And now recently,
Jesse Eisenberg
has been cast as Lex Luthor. Now, it's over. It's over being incredulous about casting.
Because you don't know. There's no way that you can know.
Right. You won't know until it comes out. Like Trev was saying earlier, and I'll let him talk about it. Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger's your prime example why you don't know dick about movies.
You don't. We're sorry. We're sorry.
I'm not looking at the camera because I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to all these people who are just jumping to conclusions.
And me 10 years ago, before The Dark Knight came out, they were like, Heath Ledger's the Joker. I was incredulous about it.
He didn't know dick about movies either. But you don't know dick about movies because you... until you've seen the actor in the portrayal and what they're going to bring to it, you're just speculating. Yeah. You're just speculating.
It's a theory.
Well, I've seen this guy play like a tough guy a tough guy like a bad boy in 10 Things I Hate About You, so he's going to be a terrible Joker. It's like, well, now let's see. Is he going to be written as Petruchio from The Taming of the Shrew in this Dark Knight movie? No? You mean he's going to be written like the Joker? Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll turn out differently then. Yeah. These are not relevant examples. And what's staggering, specifically about movies with Batman, how wrong people have been over and over. Michael Keaton, it's going to be terrible. And now you get these same people who sit here and tell you that,
Ben Affleck's going to be
Michael Keaton was the best Batman there ever was. Guess what? He wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He was not the best Batman.
Michael Keaton was not the best Batman.
If you think he is great, I'm not going to change your opinion. I don't think he was, I'm getting. We should name this show Sidetracks, by the way. Sidetracks. No,
here.
Let me wrap it up. Let me wrap up my point. So, yeah, you don't know dick until you've seen the movie, unless you have some actual evidence of what they're doing in the movie to stand by.
Yeah.
There is, however, a caveat to this. If what they're going for is kind of antithetical to the whole purpose of the character. One example I can think of where people were completely right about a bad casting decision is Topher Grace
as Venom
in Spider-Man. And the thing is that that's antithetical because while they were trying to go with he's like a dark Spider-Man thing, and that's kind of what Venom's about. But Venom is the opposite of Spider-Man in so many ways.
Yeah.
He has a much darker way of fighting crime.
Right.
He doubled down on overall strength instead of speed and dexterity like Spider-Man did.
Spider-Man had the willpower to fight against Venom, whereas, it was there were such polar opposites in the comics.
Right.
That's what made them good head to head. And then in the movie they were like, oh, well, we want somebody that is so much like Peter Parker, but then he takes the turn later on. So it's like, it doesn't really make sense.
Right.
It didn't work, obviously. The whole movie was just bloated.
So, I mean,
besides the point.
There's exceptions that prove the rule, but, you know.
And again, backpedaling, because I told you it was going to happen, backpedaling on Trevor's comment about, oh, well, this person was in this movie.
You had your chance.
This person was in this movie, so that's what we're using it as a basis for. Well, you can glean from roles that actually make sense for the character. For instance, Jesse Eisenberg.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Social Network. He was kind of an evil genius in that, That's how he played the character. And
ruthless, ambitious, vicious.
Yeah.
It's all,
He played it very well, and if that's any indication of how he can play Lex Luthor in this movie, which these are characteristics that character characterizes, then, that's perfect. But
that's good evidence.
But so many people are like, oh, well, he was in, Zombieland, Adventureland, whatever land, and he's just a nervous guy, and why don't we just get, fucking whoever, and it's like, you obviously haven't seen this or have really thought about that sort of thing. So, again, movie theorists, movie scientists, pop culture scientists, putting forth the theory that Jesse Eisenberg
is going to be a really probably good Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Okay, what's he got going against
whether
him?
The character is going to be written well, too. That's the other thing. You can't put it all on the actors. The actors get a script. They do it to the best of their abilities. Sometimes they have some input and say, maybe I feel like my character might say this or that. Sometimes they have no say at all, and it's just like, you read what I fucking wrote, even if it does sound weird.
I want to address this a little bit. The straw that broke the camel's back for Jake and I on this one was a blog post. I'm not going to call the guy out.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
It would be rude.
It would be rude, but I will say what he said.
Yeah.
Which was that Jesse Eisenberg is a forgettable comedian who he best remembered him as being the Blue Bird from Rio. And
So
that was like his capstone.
Hasn't seen anything else.
That's his capstone argument for why he's going to be a shitty Lex Luthor.
Because he played a bird in an animated picture.
Yeah, so what?
He was a voice actor.
Yeah, and so
you're
what?
going to base his live action performance on a voice acting that he did for a children's movie.
Do you think the scriptwriters for the Batman vs Superman movie are going to let
he
write
played
Lex
that
Luthor?
Blue Bird. Let's
That's
just
why
write
I
the whole
Blue Bird.
Lex Luthor. In exterior night, the Batman sits on a rooftop. Approaching from behind, a shadowy figure. A blue bird approaches. Lines, Blue Bird. I am Lex Luthor.
It's ridiculous. All right, so we're winding down the show now, and I got a special surprise for everybody. As you know, we've been kind of doing our thing here lately with the website. We have the website going up now.
Oh, wow, we really buried this one.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, good lord.
I feel terrible. But I wanted to make it exciting, and we had a lot of stuff to talk about. And listen, if you're not listening, listen, because this is important. We have a brand new producer that we brought onto the website.
Oh, what?
Yes. He's so brand new. He's so brand new.
I'm excited, but I already knew that.
Yes, he's so brand new that we just came to an agreement about things today. His material is not yet up on the site, but the absent commentator,
who
has a channel over on Blip. We want you to watch the stuff on our site. If you're so curious, you got to go out.
Yeah, dude, go watch his stuff too. You'll get more of it.
But the absent commentator is joining us on Peanut Butter Disaster, and we are so glad to have him on, on the team. He's very, very funny. He's got excellent skills. He's got skills. I believe they might be sufficient to pay the bills. And more to the point, though, he does a diverse range of topics, movies that Jake and I wouldn't touch.
He does some Let's Plays. I don't know, I might.
Really?
Yeah.
Mannequin?
Yeah.
He does Mannequin.
I remember Mannequin.
Guys, he does Mannequin.
I feel like the two movies that I get mixed up in my head when I think about them are Mannequin and Splash.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, those two movies. It's a fish lady that turns into a lady and then a mannequin lady that turns into a lady. There's a lot of turning into things in both of those movies.
This is Daryl Hannah transforming. Do you see? But the absent commentator, it is going to be such a pleasure to have you with us, and hope you guys, when we're going to be having his stuff up on the site here, Toot Sweet, it's going to be great. And the latest acquisition of Peanut Butter Disaster, going the extra mile to bring you quality content all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
All of it.
So just keep showing up to our fucking site and watch your goddamn videos.
Whoa, I think we got a little upset.
I'm sorry,
there
I got excited.
We got a little excited.
But seriously, watch our videos.
Yes, that's true. But in any case, so there's that, and we're gonna leave you on a little bit of a down note tonight, just to mix it up. The other elephant that's been sitting in the room, those of you who pay attention to the entertainment world, I'm sure are aware that in the previous week we lost a kind of a heavy hitter in the acting world. Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away, age 46. I loved him. I loved him in lots of different roles. Even one that I feel bad because I think the only time one of the few times I've mentioned one of his movies was Capote, and talked about how I fell asleep in the theater while I was watching it. It's dry material.
It's dry.
But when you're talking about an actor with a real serious range, and you're talking about a guy who has some real talent, he was always somebody that I would dream cast.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of different projects that I heard was coming out, I'd say, who's going to be great in this?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
That's right.
No, I agree. If you didn't know him for his excellent works, then you knew him for his more poppy works. He had a diverse range. He did a lot of more indie movies.
What's your favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman movie, guys?
Let's remember Philip Seymour Hoffman by remembering the Philip Seymour Hoffman movies that we remember and we enjoyed.
I loved his supporting role in The Big Lebowski, just to get us kind of started out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to also mention a movie that you may not remember he was in, because it was before he really kind of took off as his own guy. One of the original 90s disaster vehicles, Twister. He was one of the members of Helen Hunt's team in Twister. He was so young.
Yeah, he was.
Oh my God, so young in that.
That's a good movie. I like Twister.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, what a guy.
He will be
yeah, another role that often comes to mind is the really depressing turn he took in Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
That was a little sad.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah, he was as much as he could make me laugh. He did a great job in Big Lebowski, Almost Famous, a few other things.
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. He was a great villain in Mission Impossible 3.
And most recently, he was in
Catching Fire, the second Hunger Games movie. Yeah. He was supposed to be in the third. Apparently, they finished 90% of the filming they needed to do with him, so they're going to kind of have to try to shore it up where they can to
Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus kind of thing.
Yeah, that's about it. So that's going to come through anyway. It's nice, I guess, as a fan to have seen to see that he's going to kind of go out being in a big movie that's going to be memorable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a really big fan base for these books, and so a lot of these people are going to see, and considering that he's in both that last movie and this next, probably two, because they're going to split the last one into two. You guys know they're going to do it. Seeing him go out like that, it's a good way for the actor to go out on something well known.
It's a bummer, but
it's a real bummer.
He has a wide birth of awesome movies. So
Nobody's Fool, Patch Adams, Talented Mr. Ripley, Oni Mahoney wasn't too bad. Lots. Thanks, I appreciate you guys are remembering some of his films that we didn't. But anyway, it's a bummer. He will be missed, but that's the bummer we're leaving you guys on tonight.
Sorry, guys.
Love you guys. Love Philip. Rest in peace, bro. Rest in peace. But for Jake and Trev Review Everything Live, I'm Trev.
I'm Jake.
And it's been a pleasure. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.